Hi everyone, you're watching Millennial Tips for Small Business. My name is Mylin, and if you own a small business or are thinking about it, you are in the right place. This is a channel that talks all about small business tips. We motivate each other, we lift us up, and we provide resources for each other. I own two small businesses. The first is a talent management company, and the other one is Cropsticks. So Cropsticks you might have seen on Shark Tank before. Cropsticks is the first ever disposable chopstick with a built-in rest. And today, I want to share something that happened to me just the other week, and it was crazy. I hope it never happens to you, but to be honest, it could happen to anybody. So the more prepared that you are, the better that you will be. Because let me tell you, I know a lot of you are thinking about doing e-commerce business, doing importing, exporting, dealing with the international waters. And if you're one of those that's like, oh yeah, I gotta go get in on this mask thing and I've gotta import mask all the way from China and blah, 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 blah. Well, this video is for you. So listen up. I am getting strict here because this shit happened to me, man, and it wasn't fun. But first, let's get into the small business shout out of the day. And today it goes to MW. MW is an amazing restaurant that's located in Honolulu, Hawaii, that's run by Chef Michelle and Chef Wade, hence the MW, and they are really known for the desserts. There are arancini balls. Right now they're having a special takeout menu that switches up every 2 to 3 days because they feature a local farmer every time on their menu. So check them out, and don't forget to pick up a dessert because that's Chef Michelle's specialty. All right, let's get into the video. So as I was saying, this crazy thing happened to me the other week, and it has to do with importing and exporting goods. So to give you some background on my customs experience is that I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and this is the first time this has ever happened to me. But I want to give you some background first to understand how crazy and why the timing of what happened was so dang frustrating. So long story short, I have two 20-foot containers that are bringing products over. And pre-coronavirus, there was a lot of hope invested into these containers. You can watch the video right here that explains all about it. But basically, post-coronavirus, as you know how the story goes, because we service a lot of restaurants, airlines, and hotels, and those containers were still en route with all the product, but yet when it landed, I knew that we would not have really that customer base to service. But with all that said, I thought to myself, it's all good. We're bringing in full 20-foot containers, so at least we're able to save on our cost of goods. So cost of goods includes the manufacturing cost of your product. And typically, you can either fill up a 20-foot container, a 40-foot container, or what we call a less than container load, or LCL. And typically for the past 3 years, I've been doing LCLs. These are generally more expensive because when you imagine the situation, LCRs is less than container loads. So what you do is you pack your goods in with other different commodities and other different products, and you all stack it into one large container. So it's not just all your product. And you have the folks that have to pack all these items up. Then it ships over to the port of destination. Then it has to go to a warehouse. It has to divan and go to the right persons. And then finally, it gets to go over to your location. So when you have a full container, you get to bypass all that divanning. And generally speaking, because there's less labor involved, 20-foot container, 40-foot container, if you can fill everything to the brim, you are generally saving on your cost of goods. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to save on cost of goods. This sucks that our customer base has shrunk because of the coronavirus, but at least we're saving here. Wrong. So what happened was when our container arrived in the port of Long Beach, it got flagged. And when you get flagged, this is a very random process. So anyway, our container lands end of April at Long Beach Port. And typically what's supposed to happen is it goes through customs, gets cleared, and then goes straight to our warehouse. Easy peasy. But what happened was that it got chosen randomly to go through the VAICS system, which stands for the Vehicle Cargo Inspection System. I thought, okay, no biggie. This is for the safety of America that our cargo has to go through these regulations. And okay, it sucks. It's going to cost an extra $250 to $300 because if you are chosen, then you still have to pay for it. Yeah, so the importer is always the one that has to pay for these examination fees. I was like, it's all good, go through the process, we can afford it. It's only going to be an extra day of inspection and then we'll get our product. No, that is not what happened. So after you go through that first inspection, which by the way is like going through an x-ray machine, then for whatever reason, it got chosen to go to step 2, which is called the tailgate exam. And this is when they decide to break your seal on your container and peer and look at what's inside, which is totally fine. They usually just pick 1 or 2 boxes to open up and look inside. At this point, I was annoyed. I was just like, all right, really, we have to go in. It's straws, guys. Like, don't worry about it. But they decided to open it up, open the boxes, charge another $250 to $300. And I was just like, Urgh. So the thing that can suck with the tailgate exam is that it puts extra time on the length of time it'll take before you get your actual container. Typically, it can take an extra 5 to 6 days, which sucks, especially if you have an eager customer who's really waiting for these items. But it is what it is. It's part of government regulations. You got to go through it. But this is where it gets insane. The final type of exam is called the intensive customs exam. And this is when they decide to not just open up one box, but they decide to open up every box and look through your items. Like, it's straws, guys. It's made out of bamboo. I don't know what you're looking for, but I have nothing to hide, so go through it. You're not gonna find anything. That wasn't what I was worried about. By this time, I was like, okay, I already got 2 fees from 2 exams, and I have 1 more fee coming. At that time, I didn't know how big of a fee it was going to be. This is my first time going through the process. I was actually honestly quite ignorant to that process. On top of it all, you have extra days that are piling onto this wait time for them to inspect your cargo. It can take up to 30 days for an intensive customs exam to be completed. I guess they didn't really find anything because it just took them 1 day to rip everything open and look through it all. Another downfall of that process is that if there's anything that's damaged, so let's say they open up all the poly bags in your container, they're not liable. Customs is not liable. You are, as the importer, liable for any damage that happens. So that sucks. I guess that's what insurance is for. So like I said, there's 3 types of exams, which is the VCIS, which is like that x-ray examination. The second one called the tailgate, which is they open up the container and they look through your items. And then the third, the mother load, is the intensive customs exam. And guess how much that one costs, you guys? That exam cost $1,435 out of my company's pockets. No control over that. Plus the tailgate fee, plus the x-ray fee, a whopping total of $1,965. All for customs to open up my container, look through everything, and be like, you're good. It's like going through TSA, getting stopped by border control, getting that interview, being asked to go into interrogation, and then getting slapped in the face. And when it comes time for you to go, they're like, oh, you're good. By the way, you owe me $1,965. And yes, you heard me, the exam is totally random. You'll never know why they chose you in the first place. And if you decide not to pay, you go to jail. Actually, don't know if you go to jail or not. You're supposed to pay your fee, guys. If you know what happens to you if you don't pay your fees, leave a comment down below, but I know something bad will happen. Typically, only 3 to 5% of shipments are chosen every year to go through all 3 types of exams. So I was the lucky one. Out of all the cargo they could have selected, they chose the most time sensitive, the most penny pinching, kick in the butt coronavirus time of a container. Yeah, that was my luck. So I want to share this experience with you. I hope you can be prepared for it if you ever have to go through it so it doesn't knock you off your feet. So while selection is pretty random, there are a few ways that you can be prepared and try to avoid it as much as possible. Number 1, get your paperwork in order. Work with an experienced freight forwarder that has done this before so that everything is clear cut. Number 2, provide accurate valuation of your goods. Make sure that the goods that you're bringing in or shipping out cost exactly what they say they cost. Otherwise, you're committing fraud. Number 3, work with established partners. Work with folks that have tons of experience and have done this before, because the more credible these freight forwarders are, the less likely they are to be chosen. Number 4, apply for a continuous entry bond. And this puts you as the importer as someone who is credible and has their paperwork in order. And number 5, avoid consolidating your goods with other unknown parties. So like I mentioned, those LCLs, typically you have your goods and then it's packed, that container's packed with all these different types of goods from other companies. So if you're able to bring in full containers, that allows you to have more control over that container. And since you know you're legit, there's less likely of a reason for your container to get chosen. But you know what? You can do all that like I did and still get chosen. So you just never know. But I want you to know that as you're importing and exporting these goods, this kind of thing can happen to anybody that's in this business. So just know about it, be prepared, and don't go off on your broker because of your ignorance. For those of you that are thinking about going into e-commerce, you're doing it, thinking about getting into that mass business, I am all for entrepreneurship. Go for it. Just be prepared, and I am rooting for you. Good luck, guys. So I hope you learned a lot from my experience. I'm going to be okay. Our company is going to be okay. We are still working on a few big deals that I hope I can share with you soon. And yeah, let's keep fighting and staying strong. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment if you found this useful, helpful, or if there's other types of information that you'd like to hear from me about. All right, have a great rest of your day. Bye.